Cynical people may claim that there's no good deed which goes unpunished, but in the world of video games, being the hero generally does pay off. And sometimes the good karma might come back to you when you least expect it. From simple acts like helping an animal in distress to sacrificing something valuable for the sake of saving a person's life, these choices might not seem like they do anything other than let you keep a clean conscience at the time, but you will be glad you made them, as they can even save your life. I'm Jess from What Culture, and here are 10 video game good deeds worth doing every time. Number 10, the Trapped Trapper Tale, Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the things that makes Red Dead Redemption 2's world feel so alive are its many random encounters. As long as you travel around the world map, you're guaranteed to come across a stranger or two. Usually the things they ask you to do will come with just a little bit of honor here and there, which is handy if you want to be a good cowboy, but there are instances where you can get bigger rewards down the line that you may not know are coming when you do the good deed. Such is the case with the events regarding the Trapped Hunter. When exploring the forests around Strawberry and Annisburg, the player can come across a trapper who's unfortunately stepped into his own bear trap. His ironic situation is prime comedy material and, for less honorable players, a ripe opportunity to put him out of his misery and rob his dead body. However, helping the man out of the trap is actually a lot more profitable, as not only does he reward you with the stuff from his backpack shortly after you help him, but he also can be met again later in the nearby town, where he offers to buy you anything from the store as a thanks. There are actually 2 trappers like this in the game, so make sure you help them out if you want a bunch of free stuff. Number 9, Vault-Tec here, Fallout 4. The intro to Fallout 4 features one of the game's most easily punchable characters, the Vault-Tec rep. This yellow coat-clad mouthpiece for Fallout's most evil company arrives at your doorstep to sign your family up for the nearby Vault 111. His appearance ultimately allows you to escape the bombs shortly after, but his fake positivity and undying devotion to his company still make most people want to shove the door in his face. But hey, at least there's no way he's alive 200 years later, right? Well, it turns out that the same Vault-Tec guy survived the bombing as a ghoul. You can meet him in the hotel in Goodneighbor, where he explains that he's been kicked out of every settlement for being, and this will come as a surprise, obnoxiously annoying. This is where most people may think completely valid and leave him to wallow in his misery. But if you show compassion towards the rep, you'll gain the option to recruit him into your settlement, and this is actually objectively the best decision you can make. When you assign him to a general store, the salesman will sell a powerful, one-of-a-kind piece of armor that you can't get anywhere else. He may be exhausting and miserable, but its stock sure isn't. Number 8, Cicero is a bro, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. If you join the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim, it's hard to talk about any kind of good, as both you and the rest of your wicked family make a living taking people's lives for a dark god of murder, so you can't exactly expect to receive the option to show mercy, let alone be rewarded for it. And yet, interestingly, this is exactly what happens and something you're rewarded for if you stay your blade at the most pivotal part of the organization's questline. Shortly before, spoiler alert, the Dark Brotherhood is destroyed by the Emperor's Secret Service and the assassins suffer another smaller incident, the group's crazy jester Cicero decides that your leader, Astrid, has betrayed the Brotherhood's traditions and turns on your allies, hurting some of them before escaping to an abandoned sanctuary in Dawnstar. After you chase the clown down, it turns out he's been gravely injured, and you get a choice. You can kill him on the spot or spare him. The former choice seems more logical, but if you decide to spare him, he can actually return as a follower when the Brotherhood reestablishes itself in Dawnstar. Considering most of your group is dead by that point, another murder buddy is very much welcome. Number 7, Too Good for an Ambush, The Witcher 3. As you'd well know whether you played the games or not, The Witcher 3's titular hero Geralt is a fabled monster hunter. However, as is often the case in the Witcher books, combat isn't the only way to deal with Geralt's targets. Sometimes a more peaceful solution is just as good, and while persuading a monster to leave their territory might seem more tedious than just killing them, the extra effort to play nice does pay off. During the main storyline in Skellige, one of the quests, Skellige's Most Wanted, secretly takes your moral choices into consideration. Although the quest begins with typical Witcher work, investigating a missing caravan for a mysterious employer, by the end of it, you come across an ambush consisting of all sorts of monsters, like a werewolf and a troll. Now, it turns out the creatures have banded together to punish witches for killing their kind. The group prepares to attack Geralt, and this is where your past kindnesses can actually save you. For every monster in the past that you spared or helped, Geralt gets a unique dialogue option explaining that he's not just a mindless monster killer. The more empathy you've shown, the more the ambushes will give up on attacking you, allowing you to make the fight significantly easier. See? Even monsters deserve empathy. Number 6. Tame the Lion, Dead Rising. The Dead Rising series' bosses, called psychopaths, are the most iconic part of the series. They're crazed survivors who attack the player at first sight, giving you no other option but to fight them. For this reason, naturally, it seems like the best port of call and the only decision you can make is to make sure that you are fully prepared for a boss fight and then launch straight in when it begins. However, in Dead Rising 2, there's actually a psychopath who not only can be saved, but can also become a very useful companion, provided you just show them a little kindness. Inside the Yucatan Casino, the player can stumble upon Ted Smith, the caretaker of a tiger named Snowflake, who's decided to capitalize on the zombie outbreak by providing his pet with fresh meat, as in human survivors. Okay, so Ted is clearly a lost case, but Snowflake isn't. In fact, if you decide to feed Snowflake 3 steaks, you'll get the kitty as a little companion of your own. Okay, so Kitty being oversized kitty, but this is an advantage since it's not only a deadly weapon for you against the undead, but taming and escorting her to the safe house can provide you with 45,000 prestige points. Even in the apocalypse, it's good to treat animals with respect. Number 5. From Menace to Hero, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver is the second game set in the bloodthirsty world riddled by vampires called Nosgoth. You play as Raziel, a lieutenant of the original protagonist Kain, who seeks to destroy his former master to save the world from decay. As you might expect from a vampiric protagonist, Raziel isn't necessarily a good guy, so the game doesn't really mind that you use him to slay human survivors. But it does care about you not killing them, and secretly rewards you if you decide to let them be. Gameplay-wise, slaying humans can prove pretty useful, as it allows you to collect their souls and become stronger. However, if you let them be and spare their life, you can actually get an even better reward. Now, normally humans will attack you, but if you leave them alone and don't attack them, then go figure, they actually won't be hostile to you, and instead, they'll start worshipping you as their protector. This can prove incredibly useful once vampire hunters appear in the game, as they'll also turn friendly, sparing you from having to take on some really tough enemies. The best part, however, has to be that you can still take souls from your worshippers. As long as you don't attack them directly, they don't mind, so you get the best of both worlds. Number 4. Pet the Wolf, Until Dawn. Until Dawn is just riddled with dangers. There's your classics, big scary monsters, and even a slippery slope can take you out, so you're pretty much on guard the entire time. But there's one thing that seems like it's a huge threat, but it doesn't have to be. That is, so long as you decide to be nice, instead of just looking out for yourself. After the survivors are first attacked in the lodge, Mike gets separated from the rest of the group and ends up discovering an abandoned sanatorium. Inside, he comes across a lone wolf scouring the building's halls. If you're not careful, the animal will spot Mike and immediately run in his direction. Now, the logical thing to do in this situation, in a game where everybody can die in like a million different ways, may seem like you should defend yourself or run away, but you can decide to stay put and stay non-hostile, and if you do that, the wolf will actually do the same and even let you pet it. Not only does this allow you to avoid fighting the creature, which is what happens if you try to harm it, but the wolf will also come to your rescue when the Wendigos attack Mike later in the story. Just don't go petting wolves in real life, expecting the same kind of friendliness, because we do not endorse that. Number 3, The Return of the Immortal, Stellaris. Stellaris is a sci-fi grand strategy game set in space. The vastness of the game's map isn't just for show either. Every sector you explore can hide dozens of anomalies and special events, one of which can reward you with an immortal scientist, or an even greater reward if you decide to play nice. One of the research events in the game, simply called the Orb, has one of your scientists examine a mysterious spherical anomaly that you find floating through space. After you give them permission to delve into the object, they'll disappear for a while and then re-emerge with a brand new trait, chronofuge. It turns out the orb was an object out of time, and by interacting with it, the scientist has basically become immune to the effects of time, effectively becoming immortal. With their newfound immortality, they'll ask you to let them leave so they can explore the galaxy. But since that decision doesn't seem to give you anything, it seems better to deny their request and just keep them around forever. However, if you do let them go, the immortal will eventually return from their trip, and their discoveries will provide you with enough physics points to instantly research even the most complicated technology. So there you go, be nice and it's a win-win for everyone. Number 2, don't catapult Barcus, as funny as it seems. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is filled with moral choices, from small good deeds and mischiefs to decisions that can shape the fate of the entire world. It's impossible to get through the game without eventually choosing one end of the moral spectrum. Choosing between good or bad things is usually only a matter of personal preference, but certain decisions are clearly better than other ones, and this is the case with Barcus Root, who can give you great rewards if you just act nice towards him. Barcus is a deep gnome who you first encounter in Act 1 when a group of goblins straps him to a moving windmill. After you dispose of his captors, you have a couple of options. You can help him down from the windmill by making it stop, or you can release the brake, causing him to plummet way up into the air. A lot of people, including me, did the second one accidentally, but let's face it, we had a save and we didn't load because it was very funny. Despite how funny it is, helping Barcus out is objectively better in the long run. While freeing Barcus doesn't give you any rewards right away, it secretly is the first step to the long series of quests that not only offer plenty of rewards, but they allow you to recruit his gnome clan, the Iron Hands, and their rivals, the Gondians, as allies for the final battle. Without Barcus, it's impossible to get the favor of both factions simultaneously, so again, as funny as it is, technically if you want to have the maximum amount of support and get everybody on side, you need to not shoot him off into the stratosphere. Number 1, helping the dog, Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is a tough survival horror title where, for the majority of the game, it's just you against an entire town full of mutated freaks. That said, you can actually get yourself a helpful pal early on in the game if you just decide to give him a helping hand. At the very beginning of the game, Leon stumbles upon a dog who has its paw trapped inside a bear trap. If you can't stand to see the pup hurting and decide to rescue it, you can do so by interacting with the bear trap. Your rescued pal will immediately run for the trees, but it's not the last time you'll see him. Helping the dog isn't just there to make you feel better. If you rescued it from the trap, it'll actually come to your aid during the boss fight with El Gigante. As the big mutant rushes at you, the dog will jump out of the woods and start distracting it, which, as you can imagine, is a huge help to you. See? Man's best friends for a reason.